Hey guys, I'm Glitter Valkyrie, and today we're going to pull for Ascended Laegjarn and friends. I have been waiting for Laegjarn to get her Ascended form ever since we knew that was going to be a thing, so I am really hoping that we can get her today. So we will talk about this banner as we go along, but let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so I think that the plan for today is going to be to pull everything but blue, and I know that I should pull everything to be orb efficient, but I feel like I'll get the most value with 5 stars by sticking to those 3 colors, so I think that's what we're going to do. And I'm so sorry if I sound really tired as I'm recording this. I had a super long day at work, but I'm never too tired to make poor choices, so here we are. And hopefully we can get some good stuff today. But oh my goodness! Oh my gosh, we got Astrid. I am so excited to see her. That's amazing. Okay, let's check IVs. And she is minus attack, but I love her anyway. So actually, I was going to talk about how she and Laegjarn are the characters that I really want on this banner. And I would say that Laegjarn is probably number 1, just because she is one of my favorite Fae OCs, and I also think that she's going to be extremely useful, not just as a unit, but she also gives a floret, which is really, really good. So although she is definitely number 1, we can spark for her, so that's amazing. And Astrid was the other character that I really wanted, so I am so excited that we got her. She was definitely a standout character in the Telia series for me, and I was really hoping that she would get into Fae at some point. And really the only thing that bothered me about Astrid was Makalov. And I feel like she is a character that had so much potential. She was so brave, and she really went against the grain, and she did something different with her life. And then she got saddled to Makalov, who is like one of the worst characters in my opinion. So we are just going to pretend that he does not exist. He's not in Fae. We're not going to talk about him. And I am just so excited that she is here. Holy smokes! We got another one. Oh my goodness. I don't have words. Okay, let's check this one. And she is also minus attack, but the good news is I can merge them together and she will not be minus attack. I guess I could also save one for any skills, but to be quite honest, I feel like her fodder isn't necessarily the strongest, and she is a character that I very much like, so it's probably better for me to just merge. And as for the rest of the characters on the banner, we have Volk, and I can't say that I really have much of an attachment to him. I know so many people have been waiting for him, but he is a very strong character, and I am very intrigued by, oh my gosh, oh my goodness. We got Malice. I did not get her on her original banner, so that is amazing. And she is plus speed, wow. So we will just keep going. And I was talking about Volk, and I'm so excited that they added another special to the game, because I do feel like it's really nice to have that variety, especially with those that are tied to certain weapon types. And really the only thing that made me sad was that this was added after the Hollow Forms with Soth, because I did pick up Soth. And I feel like he would have liked lethality, but mine did get Ruptured Sky, and I absolutely love mine, so that is totally fine too. So if we get Volk, that's amazing, but if we don't, that's totally fine, because I don't have that much of an attachment. And as for the last character on the banner, we have Marcia, and I love her art. Kipu did it, and they always do an amazing job, and I think she's super adorable and very sweet. Oh, Tanith! Oh my gosh, I did not expect to see her, but I will absolutely take that. I will admit that I am more of a Sigrun girl than Tanith, but it is really cool that she's being added with her regular form. But getting back to Marcia, I am happy that she is here, but I would prefer to get her passively, like when I'm pulling blue on another banner. So that's why we will skip those blues today. But that kind of does cover everybody, and we can probably go ahead and answer some viewer questions now. And as always, if I did not get to your question, I'm so sorry. I will try to do it in a future one. And if you think of a question you want to ask me, just leave it in the comments with #question, and I will add your question to my list. So our first question today comes from Eleanor K. And they ask, what is your opinion on Qiqi and Genshin Impact? Has she ever ruined your pity? So I am one of the few people that really likes Qiqi and Genshin Impact. I don't know if it's because I'm a healer main and she has a ton of utility for me, but I really like her. I think her story is very sad, and she's still doing her best to be among the living despite the fact that she's a zombie that was tragically killed. So I really like her. And she did actually ruin my pity back in the day. When I was pulling for Zhongli on his original banner, she did break my pity, and to be quite honest, at the time, I didn't care. She was a character that I wanted, and I use her a ton still to this day. I will say that now when I get constellations, it's a little bit less exciting. But she is definitely a character that I like, and there are other characters in that regular pool that are probably worse pity breakers for me. But thank you for that great question. And we get a Virion. Okay, so let's pull this next color list and we can answer another one. And this comes from Grouchy Ghost. And they ask, who is your favorite character in World Flipper? And what do you think about the seasonal schedule like New Year's units in October? Okay, so I do play World Flipper very casually, but I do very much enjoy it for like a couple minutes each day. And my favorite character is definitely Eclair. I know that she's probably not the strongest, but she has my favorite design. If you have pink hair and a tiara, I'm probably going to like you. So she is my favorite. And as for the schedule with the seasonals, to be quite honest, I find it super off-putting. I'm somebody that has to be like in the holiday spirit to really enjoy a particular banner. Like if it's Christmas time, I want Christmas units. And if it's Halloween, I want Halloween units. So to see New Year's in October is just really weird. And I understand why they do it, but it doesn't make me like want to pull more. So that's kind of how I feel about it. But thank you for those great questions. And let's go ahead and answer another one. And this was actually asked by two people. This comes from Edelgard Did Nothing Wrong and Chairbear. And they ask, which characters would you love to see receive an ascended form? So I don't know if this is something that's going to be limited to Fae OCs, but if that is the case, my number one wish would be Triandra because she is my most favorite OC. Laegjarn's actually my second. But the other characters that I would want to see would be Peony for sure. Really, any of the fairies would be great. I'd love to see Dagger because she is my third favorite of the OCs. And I don't know if they would do like the Asker trio, but I love Alphonse, so maybe Alphonse, who knows? Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness, we got Volk. I am so happy to see him. Okay, let's check IVs. And oh my goodness, he is plus attack. That is really good. So I know that lethality is very valuable, but I'll probably keep that copy just because the IVs are so good. But getting back to this very lucky question, I talked about the OCs, but if we get to characters that are not OCs, I think one of my number one wishes would probably be Chrom because he does kind of go through some sort of ascension in his game. And also, I just really love Chrom and Matt Mercer, so please, IS, make it happen. But again, thank you, Chairbear and Edelgard Did Nothing Wrong for that super lucky question. And we get a Wrath. Okay, so we'll pull this red and we'll answer another one. And this comes from Lightning35. And they ask, which would you choose to have? The ability to undo one pull every 15 orbs spent, or the ability to undo merges? Oh my gosh, definitely the ability to undo a pull. I feel like hindsight is 20/20, and we have all been there where we get pity broken by a character that we don't want, and you're like, oh, I wish I hadn't pulled that red or that green. So if I could undo that, that would be such a great feature. And I would also choose that option because I'm somebody who merges very purposefully with my characters, and if I get duplicates and I'm not super in love with a character, they probably will get turned into a book. So most of the characters that I merge, I really don't regret. I'm sure there are a couple here and there that I have regretted, but for the most part, I really don't regret merges for characters that I love. But thank you for that very creative question. Okay, Smoke. And we get a Hinata. All right, so we'll pull this next red and let's answer another question. And this comes from Ignisol. And they ask, has Faye ever made you want to go back and play a Fire Emblem game that you haven't played yet? So yes, that actually did happen with FE4 and Thracia. I've always been a Fire Emblem fan, but I also don't really like to go out of my way to play games that aren't easily accessible. But Faye made me so intrigued that because of that, I did go and play FE4 and Thracia, and oh, best girl. And I'm really, really glad that I did, mostly for FE4, because that story is so, so good. I would love to see those games get remakes in the future because they do have some issues, and I would just love to see it get a little bit of a facelift. But overall, yes, Faye has made me play some of the older games in the franchise. But thank you for that great question. And the next question that we have today comes from Wow It's Portal. And they ask, who is your favorite non-story blade in Xenoblade Chronicles 2? I would have to say probably Ursula. I just loved her design so much. I loved using her. I loved her polar bear. She was just one of the best ones for me. And I feel like her affinity chart was probably one of the most painful, but because I loved her so much, I felt like it was worth it. But she was definitely number one. But other ones that I really liked were Zenobia. She was super fun. I really liked Cassandra, and I feel like I would have liked Cosmos, but believe it or not, I never actually got her in all of the hours that I played that game. But thank you for that great question. Okay, 3-star. And we get a Klein. Okay, we'll pull this next color list and we will answer another one. And this person actually had a couple questions for me. This comes from Kyo. And they ask, if you could, what Genshin Impact character would you give a skin to? And are you looking forward to the next Archons and regions in Genshin? And what was your favorite region so far? Okay, so for your first question, the character that I want to have a skin the most is Childe because he's my favorite of all time. But I'd also love to see Zhongli, and I also would love to see Toma, even though he's brand new. Those are all my favorites. But as for the new regions that are coming, the one that I'm most excited for is actually Sumeru. It's been that way since the beginning. I love deserts and rainforests and that whole kind of Egyptian, Persian aesthetic. I think it's really, really cool. And when they did that initial trailer with the character tease, I really want Sinnoh, so that's the one that I'm most excited for. And my favorite region is actually Mondstadt. Even though it's very boring, it's just home to me. But thank you for all those great questions. Okay, so we are at our 40, so we can go ahead and spark. And we are definitely going to take Ascended Laegjarn. That's a very, very easy choice for me. Oh gosh, I am so, so glad that we have this feature. I wish all banners could be like this. Yay! Oh my goodness, I love that design so, so much. And we got the thing. Ooh, and a floret, of course. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and end things here. I am so happy that I got my Laegjarn and Astrid and some other great units too, and I hope that you guys are just as lucky. Again, thank you so much to everybody that submitted questions. I really, really appreciate it. And as always, thanks so much for watching, and have a wonderful day.